The 1960s revolutionized science fiction cinema, pushing boundaries with groundbreaking effects and bold concepts that explored the anxieties of the Cold War and space race. While 2001, A Space Odyssey and Planet of the Apes endure as classics, dozens of visionary sci-fi films from this era have faded from public memory. Did you know that more innovative special effects techniques were developed during this decade than in the 20 years prior? What forgotten masterpieces from this golden age might outshine even today's CGI spectacles? Let's count down 15 overlooked gems. Number 15, The Last Man on Earth, 1964. Long before The Walking Dead, or 28 Days Later, this haunting adaptation of Richard Matheson's novel, I Am Legend, established the template for modern post-apocalyptic survival stories. Vincent Price stars as Dr. Robert Morgan, the apparent sole survivor of a plague that has transformed humanity into vampire-like creatures who hunt by night while he barricades himself in his fortified home during darkness. Shot in stark black and white on location in Italy, the film creates a genuinely eerie atmosphere through its abandoned streets and desolate landscapes. Director Ubaldo Ragona captures the crushing loneliness of Morgan's existence through long, nearly silent sequences of his daily routine. Price, often associated with more theatrical horror performances, delivers a remarkably restrained portrayal of a man clinging to sanity through rigid ritual. What makes The Last Man on Earth superior to modern zombie films is its psychological depth and moral complexity. Unlike contemporary apocalyptic stories that often devolve into action spectacles, this film maintains its focus on Morgan's deteriorating mental state and the existential questions his situation raises. The third act revelation that some plague victims have found ways to manage their condition transforms the narrative into a thought-provoking meditation on perspective and monstrosity. The film's influence cannot be overstated. Despite two big-budget remakes starring Charlton Heston and Will Smith, neither captured the philosophical weight and genuine desolation of this modest production. Its practical effects and location shooting create a more convincing apocalypse than many CGI-laden contemporary offerings. Number 14, Fahrenheit 451, 1966. François Truffaut's only English-language film adapts Ray Bradbury's classic novel about a future where books are banned and firemen burn anything they find. Oscar Werner stars as Montag, a fireman who begins questioning his role after meeting Clarice, a teacher who introduces him to the world of literature. What distinguishes this film from modern dystopian movies is Truffaut's refusal to over-explain his futuristic society. Instead of exposition-heavy world-building, he gradually reveals this reality through visual details. Wall-sized interactive televisions, omnipresent pill consumption, and architectural contrasts between sterile modern apartments and hidden book-filled homes. Nicolas Roeg's cinematography emphasizes vivid colors, creating a visual language that communicates the film's themes more effectively than dialogue. The casting of Julie Christie in dual roles brilliantly underscores the film's exploration of duality and choice. Werner delivers a performance of remarkable subtlety, conveying Montag's transformation from conformity to rebellion through minimal shifts in expression and posture. Bernard Herrmann's score uses unusual instrumentation to create an atmosphere both familiar and alienating. The film's most powerful sequences involve the burning of books, shot with documentary-like attention that makes each destruction feel like a genuine loss. Unlike modern adaptations that often transform literary dystopias into action vehicles, Truffaut maintains Bradbury's focus on ideas and cultural critique. The film's warning about a society choosing entertainment over knowledge feels increasingly prescient in our screen-dominated era, demonstrating how thoughtful 60-second science fiction continues to speak to contemporary concerns with greater nuance than many modern counterparts. Number 13, The 10th Victim, 1965. Before the Hunger Games, or Battle Royale, this stylish Italian satire, directed by Elio Petri, imagined a future where legalized hunting of humans replaced war as a means of channeling violent impulses. Marcello Mastroianni and Ursula Andress star as contestants in The Big Hunt, a televised competition where participants alternate between being hunter and prey. The film's visual imagination remains stunning. Set designers Piero Poletto and Sergio Cannavaro created a world of pop art excess, where mod fashion and futuristic technology blend with ancient Roman architecture. From Andress's iconic bikini with built-in machine guns to the sun-drenched Mediterranean locations, every frame offers striking compositions that influenced generations of fashion photographers and production designers. Beyond its visual pleasures, The 10th Victim offers biting social commentary about media manipulation and the commercialization of violence. Contestants seek sponsorships for their kills, with one planned assassination designed to promote a tea company's products. This satire of advertising and entertainment anticipates reality television and corporate sponsorship of violence decades before they became reality. Nino Oliviero and Piero Piccioni's jazzy score perfectly complements the film's playful yet unsettling tone, while Gianni Di Venanzo's cinematography uses stark contrast and unusual angles to emphasize the artificiality of this world's moral framework. Where modern dystopian films often take themselves extremely seriously, The 10th Victim maintains a darkly comic tone that makes its social criticism more effective. Its influence can be seen in everything from the Austin Powers franchise to The Running Man and Death Race 2000, yet few films have matched its perfect balance of style, humor, and substance. Director Petri creates a world that's simultaneously alluring and horrifying. Number 12. Journey to the Far Side of the Sun, 1969. Also released as Doppelganger, this ambitious British production by Jerry and Sylvia Anderson combines hard science fiction with mind-bending concepts. The story follows an astronaut who travels to a newly discovered planet on the exact opposite side of the Sun, only to crash land and discover what appears to be Earth. What makes this film remarkable is its meticulous attention to technical detail, achieved through practical effects that still impress today. The Andersons brought their expertise in miniature work to live action, creating spacecraft launches and lunar sequences that rival those in 2001, A Space Odyssey, at a fraction of the cost. Derek Medding's special effects team built complex model spacecraft with working mechanical parts, photographed with multiple passes to create realistic lighting and movement. The film explores fascinating scientific concepts about mirror universes, long before parallel dimensions became a sci-fi cliché. Rather than using the concept for simple action sequences, the script thoughtfully examines the psychological and philosophical implications of discovering your mirror self. The gradual revelation of the truth through subtle clues creates genuine intellectual engagement. Director Robert Parrish maintains a documentary-like realism that grounds the fantastic elements, while cinematographer John Reed uses harsh lighting and clinical compositions to establish a world where science has become the new religion. Herbert Lom and Patrick Wymark deliver performances of cold authority as the mission's commanders, creating tension through institutional pressure rather than conventional villainy. Unlike many modern sci-fi blockbusters that sacrifice scientific plausibility for spectacle, Journey to the Far Side of the Sun demonstrates how creativity and craftsmanship can create wonder without abandoning intellectual credibility. Its practical effects have aged far better than early CGI, proving that physical miniatures often create more convincing space sequences than digital shortcuts. Number 11. First Men on the Moon, 1964. This adaptation of H.G. Wells's novel combines Victorian scientific romance with state-of-the-art special effects from Ray Harryhausen. The story follows a United Nations expedition to the moon in the 1,960 seconds that discovers evidence of a previous visit in 1899, leading to the tale of eccentric inventor Joseph Cavor, Lionel Jeffries, and his anti-gravity material, Cavorite, that enabled the first lunar journey. What distinguishes this film from modern science fiction is its perfect balance of wonder and terror. Director Nathan Juran creates a lunar landscape of genuine alien beauty, with crystalline formations and vast caverns that feel truly extraterrestrial, rather than merely a backdrop for action. Harryhausen's stop-motion insectoid selenites remain some of cinema's most distinctive aliens. The performances elevate material that could have been merely juvenile adventure. Jeffries brings warmth and eccentricity to Cavor, making his scientific obsession both comical and tragic, while Edward Judd and Martha Heyer provide an emotional center as the couple swept into Cavor's extraordinary journey. The framing device adds poignant reflection on the human cost of exploration. Laurie Johnson's orchestral score shifts brilliantly between Victorian grandeur and otherworldly dissonance, while Wilkie Cooper's dynamation photography seamlessly integrates live action with Harryhausen's creations. The film's visual highlight creates a sense of scale and majesty missing from many contemporary space adventures. Unlike many modern remakes that strip classic stories of their historical context, First Men in the Moon preserves Wells's Victorian setting while adding contemporary relevance through the Cold War era. Framing story. Its combination of period, charm, and genuine science fiction speculation creates a unique experience that outshines many technically superior but imaginatively limited modern space films. Number 10. Robinson Crusoe on Mars 1964. Before The Martian examined survival on the Red Planet, this intelligent adaptation of Daniel Defoe's classic novel transported the shipwreck narrative to outer space. Commander Christopher Draper becomes stranded on Mars after meteoroids force him and his pet monkey to abandon their spacecraft, forcing him to find oxygen, water, and food on the seemingly barren planet. Director Byron Haskin, who previously helmed War of the Worlds, achieves remarkable verisimilitude through location shooting in Death Valley, whose alien landscapes provide a convincing Martian surface. Unlike many contemporary Mars films that use digital color grading to create a uniform orange environment, this film presents diverse and genuinely otherworldly terrain. The film's first half focuses on the scientific challenges of survival, presenting plausible solutions based on 1,960 seconds understanding of Mars. Draper's methodical approach to finding oxygen-producing rocks, extracting water from underground pools, and adapting his equipment demonstrates ingenuity that feels earned rather than convenient. When a second human character appears, the film thoughtfully explores communication barriers and cultural exchange. Winton Hawk's Technoscope cinematography captures the desolation and beauty of the Martian landscape, while Van Cleve's electronic-infused score creates a genuine otherworldly atmosphere without resorting to familiar science fiction cliches. The film's special effects achieve remarkable results through practical techniques like forced perspective and slit-scan photography. What makes Robinson Crusoe on Mars superior to many modern science fiction films is its respect for the audience's intelligence. It presents scientific problems and solutions without oversimplification, maintains the psychological realism of isolation, and resists the temptation to introduce conventional action sequences. Its optimistic portrayal of human resourcefulness feels more earned and inspiring than many contemporary survival narratives. Number 9. These Are the Damned 1963. Hammer Films is remembered primarily for gothic horror, but this Joseph Losey-directed science fiction film stands among the studio's most disturbing and thought-provoking productions. Set in Cold War Britain, the story follows American tourists Simon and runaway Joan, who discover a secret government facility housing radioactive children being prepared to survive the nuclear apocalypse. What makes this film remarkable is Losey's ability to blend genres, beginning as a British juvenile delinquent drama featuring Oliver Reed's violent gang of teddy boys, before gradually transforming into a chilling science fiction parable. The film's social criticism operates on multiple levels, addressing everything from generational conflict and sexual repression to nuclear anxiety and government overreach. Shot in stark black and white by cinematographer Arthur Grant, the film contrasts the seaside tourism of Weymouth with brutalist concrete bunkers housing radioactive children. This visual juxtaposition creates more unsettling commentary than many more explicit apocalyptic films. The performances achieve remarkable depth for what could have been stock characters. Viveka Lindfors brings complex motivation to scientists overseeing children, while radioactive children themselves convey both innocence and otherworldliness. Their plaintive cry of, "Help us," remains one of science fiction cinema's most haunting moments. James Bernard's score uses dissonance and children's voices to create genuine unease, while the screenplay weaves multiple storylines into a cohesive examination of a society preparing for its own destruction. Unlike contemporary dystopian films that often simplify complex social issues into clear heroes and villains, These Are the Damned maintains moral ambiguity throughout. Number 8. The Creation of the Humanoids, 1962. Shot on a minuscule budget with static camera setups and minimal special effects, this philosophical science fiction film nonetheless offers more thought-provoking ideas than many modern blockbusters. Set after nuclear war has decimated Earth's population, the story explores a society where increasingly sophisticated robots are created to perform necessary labor, despite growing opposition from anti-robot organization. The Order of Flesh and Blood. What makes this film exceptional is its commitment to exploring ethical questions rather than action sequences. Director Wesley Berry devotes substantial screen time to philosophical debates about what constitutes humanity, the nature of consciousness, and the ethics of creating artificial life. These scenes anticipate similar discussions in Blade Runner, Westworld, and Ex Machina, but often with greater nuance and less compromise to commercial demands. Don Megawan brings military stiffness to the role of Kenneth Kragas, a leader in the anti-robot movement whose prejudices are challenged when he discovers his sister's relationship with a humanoid. The gradual revelation of the humanoid's true capabilities creates genuinely thought-provoking science fiction that questions the boundaries between natural and artificial life. Hal Moore's cinematography makes virtue of necessity, using theatrical lighting to create striking compositions despite limited camera movement. The humanoid makeup creates uncanny beings that avoid both the cuteness of robots, like R2-D2, and the obvious humans in suits approach of many contemporary productions. While lacking the visual spectacle of modern science fiction, the creation of the humanoids demonstrates how idea-driven storytelling can create more lasting impact than special effects. Its central questions about artificial intelligence and human identity have become only more relevant in our era of rapidly advancing AI, proving that thoughtful speculation can age better than technical innovation. Number 7. Alphaville, 1965. Jean-Luc Godard's science fiction noir follows secret agent Lemmy Caution as he infiltrates Alphaville, a dystopian city controlled by a tyrannical computer called Alpha 60 that has outlawed emotion and individualism. His mission to destroy the computer becomes complicated when he falls in love with Natasha, the daughter of Alphaville's creator. What makes Alphaville revolutionary is Godard's rejection of conventional futuristic trappings. Instead of building elaborate sets, he shot in contemporary Paris, using modern architecture, brutalist housing blocks, and corporate offices to create his dystopia. This approach demonstrates how conceptual innovation can create more effective speculative fiction than technical spectacle. The film's visual style combines film noir aesthetics with avant-garde techniques. Raoul Coutard's high-contrast black and white cinematography creates shadowy compositions worthy of Fritz Lang, while Godard's jump cuts and disorienting editing patterns reflect the fragmentation of humanity under Alpha 60's rule. The computer itself is represented only by a pulsing light and guttural voice, creating a more unsettling presence than many elaborately visualized AI villains. Constantine, reprising his popular French detective character, Lemmy Caution, but placing him in science fiction context, brings hard-boiled charisma to his role as a man introducing human passion into a sterile society. Karina delivers a performance of remarkable subtlety as a woman programmed to serve the system who gradually awakens to emotion through exposure to poetry and love. The film's most powerful sequences involve the dictionary of forbidden words that Alpha 60 has eliminated from acceptable language. This linguistic exploration of totalitarianism feels more sophisticated than many contemporary dystopian narratives, examining how control of language shapes is thought more effectively than physical coercion. Unlike modern science fiction that often relies on elaborate world-building and visual effects, Alphaville demonstrates how existing reality, viewed through a conceptual lens, can create more thought-provoking speculation than expensive fantasy. Its influence can be seen in everything from Blade Runner to The Matrix, yet few films match its intellectual ambition. Number 6. La Jetée, 1962. Chris Marker's 28-minute masterpiece consists almost entirely of black and white still photographs, yet creates one of cinema's most haunting time travel narratives. Set after World War III has rendered the surface of Earth uninhabitable, the story follows a prisoner forced to participate in time travel experiments because of his strong attachment to a pre-war memory. The film's formal innovation creates a perfect metaphor for memory and time. Marker's brilliant montage suggests movement and emotion through the relationship between static images, while the narration provides context without explaining away the story's mysteries. The single brief moment of actual motion creates one of cinema's most powerful emotional moments, precisely because it breaks the established still image format. This technique demonstrates how formal constraints can create greater impact than unlimited technical resources. Trevor Duncan's musical score combines classical elements with concrete sounds to create a disorienting atmosphere that enhances the fragmented narrative structure. The sound design creates a more convincing future than many films with a $100 million budget. La Jetée explores complex ideas about predestination, memory, and desire, with remarkable economy and emotional resonance. Its circular narrative structure creates a perfect closed loop that has influenced countless subsequent time travel stories. Terry Gilliam's 12 Monkeys expanded Marker's concept into a feature film, but the original's concentrated power remains unmatched. Despite its brevity and technical simplicity, La Jetée demonstrates how conceptual ambition and formal innovation can create science fiction that resonates more deeply than spectacular but intellectually limited modern productions. Its exploration of time, memory, and fate continues to influence filmmakers across genres. Number 5. The Day the Earth Caught Fire, 1961. Val Guest's documentary-style disaster film follows journalist Peter Stenning as he investigates disturbing global weather changes, eventually uncovering the truth. Simultaneous nuclear tests by the US and USSR have knocked Earth from its axis and sent it spiraling toward the Sunday. The film chronicles both the global crisis and Stenning's personal redemption as he works with meteorologist Jeannie Craig to reveal the truth to the public. What distinguishes this film from modern disaster movies is its journalistic approach to apocalypse. Shot in a crisp, realistic style, with extensive location filming in London, the film creates verisimilitude through its detailed portrayal of newspaper operations and meteorological research. Real Fleet Street locations and convincing newsroom sets ground the fantastic elements in recognizable reality. The special effects achieve remarkable impact through practical techniques and strategic deployment. Rather than overwhelming viewers with constant spectacle, guests carefully build tension through environmental details, increasing heat, water rationing, and social unrest. The film's most striking visual technique creates mood more effectively than many modern color grading approaches. The performances elevate material that could have been merely sensationalistic. Judd brings convincing world weariness to Stenning, creating a flawed protagonist whose alcoholism and cynicism give way to renewed purpose, while Monroe provides both romantic interest and intellectual counterpoint as a scientist navigating government secrecy. Leo McKern delivers a standout supporting performance as a veteran journalist, maintaining gallows humor in the face of potential extinction. The film's ambiguous ending offers complexity rarely found in disaster narratives. This refusal to provide definitive resolution, combined with the film's clear-eyed examination of human responsibility for potential extinction, creates science fiction that respects its audience's intelligence more than many contemporary counterparts. Number 4. Fantastic Voyage, 1966. Richard Fleischer's groundbreaking adventure follows a team of scientists, miniaturized and injected into the body of a comatose scientist to perform brain surgery from within. With only 60 minutes before they return to normal size, the crew must navigate the human circulatory system in their microscopic submarine while contending with both natural antibodies and a potential saboteur among them. The film's revolutionary special effects hold up remarkably well compared to modern CGI. Art directors Jack Martin Smith and Dale Hennessy created massive practical sets representing the interior of the human body, using ingenious techniques like floating colored oils in tanks to represent plasma, and building enormous physical models of organs and blood vessels. These tangible environments create a sense of genuine physical presence that many digital creations lack. Ernest Laszlo's cinematography uses vibrant colors and unusual perspectives to transform human biology into surreal landscapes, while composer Leonard Rosenman creates an atmospheric score that enhances the wonder and danger of this inner space exploration. The production design team's research with medical illustrators resulted in anatomical environments that balance scientific accuracy with artistic interpretation. The stellar cast elevates the high-concept premise. Stephen Boyd provides stoic heroism as security agent Grant, while Raquel Welch brings both glamour and scientific credibility to her role as technical assistant Cora. Donald Pleasance creates subtle menace like the potentially treacherous Dr. Michaels, while Arthur Kennedy and William Redfield round out the team with distinct personalities. Edmund O'Brien's portrayal of General Carter grounds the fantastic elements through his matter-of-fact, military approach to the mission. What makes Fantastic Voyage superior to many modern science fiction films is its commitment to making scientific concepts both comprehensible and visually stunning. Rather than using jargon as mere technological decoration, the film takes genuine interest in explaining biological processes, while finding dramatic potential in scientific challenges, like navigating white blood cells or surviving a cardiac arrest. The result is entertainment that respects its audience's intelligence while delivering spectacular visuals that continue to inspire filmmakers decades later. Number 3. Seconds, 1966. John Frankenheimer's paranoid masterpiece follows Arthur Hamilton, a dissatisfied banker who's offered a chance at a new life through a mysterious organization called the Company. After faking his death, he's given a new face and identity as Tony Wilson, a successful artist living in Malibu. However, his rebirth proves more psychologically complicated than anticipated, leading to a descent into disillusionment and horror. What makes Seconds exceptional is cinematographer James Wong Howe's expressionistic black and white photography, which employs distorting wide-angle lenses, disorienting perspectives, and shadow-drenched compositions to create genuine psychological unease. The opening sequence creates more disturbing body horror through suggestion than many modern films achieve with explicit gore. Rock Hudson delivers the finest dramatic performance of his career as the reborn Hamilton, divided by Wilson, capturing the existential dread of a man who discovers that physical transformation cannot erase internal emptiness. The casting of Hudson adds poignant subtext to his portrayal of someone unsuccessfully attempting to live as someone else. Jerry Goldsmith's modernist score enhances the film's atmosphere of creeping dread, while Lewis, John Carlino's screenplay, creates a perfect three-act structure, charting Hamilton's journey from dissatisfaction through apparent liberation to ultimate horror. The wine harvest sequence provides momentary release before the walls close in again. Unlike modern science fiction that often simplifies complex themes for mass consumption, Seconds maintains moral and philosophical ambiguity throughout. The Company isn't portrayed as simply evil, but as fulfilling a genuine market demand for escape from conformity. The film's indictment of empty materialism and midlife crisis solutions feels even more relevant today, making its exploration of identity and authentic living more sophisticated than many contemporary narratives covering similar territory. Number 2. Quatermass and the Pit, 1967. Released in America as 5 Million Years to Earth, this Hammer Films production represents the pinnacle of the Quatermass series created by Nigel Kneale. When workers extending the London Underground discover apparent fossils and an otherworldly object, scientist Bernard Quatermass investigates, gradually uncovering evidence that alien visitors influenced human evolution and implanted psychic abilities that still manifest as racial memory. What makes this film remarkable is how it builds its fantastic premise through methodical scientific investigation rather than spectacle. Director Roy Ward Baker creates mounting tension through the gradual uncovering of evidence, with each discovery logically leading to the next revelation. This approach creates more genuine unease than many effects-driven modern productions. The film's practical effects achieve remarkable impact through strategic deployment. The Martian spacecraft becomes increasingly menacing as its influence grows, while the glimpses of the preserved insectoid aliens create genuine otherworldly dread. The climactic sequence achieves apocalyptic scale through simple but effective optical techniques. The performances ground the fantastic elements in convincing reality. Keir brings authoritative intelligence to Quatermass, making scientific exposition feel urgent and natural, while James Donald provides perfect counterpoint as the more cautious archaeologist Dr. Roney. Barbara Shelley transcends the typical Hammer glamour role as the psychically sensitive Barbara Judd, while Julian Glover embodies military narrow-mindedness as Colonel Breen. What elevates Quatermass and the Pit above many modern science fiction films is its intellectual ambition. Kneale's script explores evolutionary theory, racial memory, the origins of religious concepts like demons and hell, and the genetic basis for human violence. Its suggestion that human potential for both psychic ability and destructive hatred might have extraterrestrial origins creates more thought-provoking science fiction than many technically superior but conceptually limited contemporary works. Number 1. The Face of Another, 1966. Hiroshi Teshigahara's haunting masterpiece explores identity, alienation, and moral boundaries through the story of a businessman whose face is severely disfigured in an industrial accident. A psychiatrist provides him with a remarkably lifelike mask, which not only restores his appearance but grants him a new identity. What makes this Japanese sci-fi psychological drama extraordinary is its perfect integration of experimental techniques with philosophical depth. Cinematographer Hiroshi Sagawa creates striking visual compositions that externalize the protagonist's fragmented identity, using mirrors, split screens, and architectural frames to suggest a fractured self. The clinical white rooms of the psychiatrist's office contrast with shadowy urban landscapes, creating visual metaphors for the protagonist's journey between medical solution and moral dissolution. The film's production design by Masao Yamazaki and Arata Isozaki merges surrealism with clinical precision. The psychiatrist's laboratory creates a space that feels both scientifically plausible and psychologically unnerving without relying on conventional futuristic tropes. Nakadai delivers a performance of remarkable subtlety, conveying distinct personalities with and without the mask, primarily through physical presence and vocal modulation. His transformation from sympathetic victim to amoral experimenter occurs so gradually that viewers find themselves complicit in his ethical deterioration. The parallel narrative of a young woman with facial scarring provides thematic counterpoint, exploring how visible difference affects female identity in contrast to the masked man's invisible deception. Toru Takemitsu's avant-garde score combines traditional instruments with musique concrète techniques to create a soundscape that enhances the film's psychological tension. His use of dissonance and silence creates more genuine unease than the orchestral bombast of many modern science fiction films. These forgotten science fiction films from the 1960s demonstrate how creativity, philosophical depth, and visual innovation can create a more lasting impact than technical spectacle alone. While today's blockbusters often prioritize computer-generated imagery over conceptual ambition, these classics use practical effects, thoughtful writing, and genuine human performances to explore profound questions about identity, society, and humanity's future.